It's like the wingman for something you don't even know. It's like, hey, it's coming. It's big. It's awesome. It's cool. It's something that you read about, you think about, you dream about. Imagination runs wild. It's like, whoa, it could be this. It could be this. All aboard the train, folks. Today, we're going to talk about the hype train. Toot, toot.
So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective.
Get those sleepies
Taboo,
out.
forbidden
It's like 11 at
subjects,
night.
they're all on the chopping block.
Still got
baby.
them.
We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles. Sorry. Apologies. Not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. Oh my goodness. And welcome. I am...
Welcome. He's Dan.
You are
And I am
Nick.
folks. Welcome to another episode of the UnPanders. We just roll along.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss a beat.
Yeah, exactly. We just keep on rolling. Keep them fresh.
Keep
Try
'em
to
fresh.
get excited for the 100th
Get excited.
and 50th somethingth episode.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh,
Ah.
I couldn't have waited for this longer.
I know. Well, the thing is, everyone's been talking to me about it, texting me. It's been a while. When's this one coming out? It's been a while. When's this one coming out? And the thing is, we like to build a little something called momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Talk.
Whispers.
Gossip. Hype.
The sizzle.
I love hype. I love hype. Ooh, the sizzle. That's funny. My sales boss talks about sizzle all the time.
That's weird. I wanted to start a cryptocurrency called Sizzle. Sizzle coin. Sounds hot.
It does sound
It's
hot.
ready. It's on the range.
Sizzle took a nosedive today in the stock.
Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle.
Sizzle fizzles. That's what the headline would say. That's literally what it would say.
Damn it. Oh, it has been a
Headlines
while.
write themselves.
It has been a while
Has
since we've done an episode here. I thought your motivation had waned. You waned.
A little bit. I mean, someone, we're not going to mention names.
The wiener wanes.
Winter wanes.
Up at midnight we see.
Well, that's just it. I'm not up at midnight as much anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting old.
Yeah, we've gotten older now, and we
Our
don't
kids
get as
stay up later.
excited. Yeah, that's also limiting factors.
That's
Limiting
very-
factors, life. Oh my God, life.
Children.
Can you hype up life. Is that possible?
People.
Motivational speakers or?
Yeah,
life's
absolutely.
hypers?
You can be like, life is all about living, folks. Yeah. People want to run through a brick wall. Interestingly enough, you bring this up because in sales, hype is like a big thing.
Mhm.
It's like a part of our everyday. I don't know. I think
Mojo.
every morning at 8:15, a YouTube video plays over the TVs in our building.
That's creepy as hell. All TVs, all of them, same. No one knows how they start. Who turns them on?
No,
I don't
They're
know.
all on there. What's up? Just recording something, but yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. He's getting a divorce.
Hi,
Hey, what's up?
Hey. She's excited.
how are you?
Good. How about
Good.
you? How are
You said
you?
good. How about you?
I'm good. I was just thinking, I think when I get done work tomorrow, I'm just going to take Dominic up to Nadine's house and drop that stuff off, let them play for a little bit and come home. And this way, because I know the shit's getting shut down on Saturday, if
Mhm.
you and your
What shut down?
boys want to go and have
Happy hour or something?
happy hour.
I don't know if they're
okay.
doing happy hour, but that's a good point. I might investigate it.
All right, so I don't want you to feel obligated to get home,
That's so nice of her.
right?
She wants you to get smashed.
I will, thank you.
Dan says that was very nice of you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to be considerate.
Oh, that sounded so sarcastic. I love it.
So And this way, I can get there and get home in a reasonable amount of time.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Thanks.
Good night. It
Yeah.
was good seeing you, Dan.
I'd seen you too.
That's good. The last appearance. Great.
Okay. She's so flat when she speaks that I worry about your safety.
Wouldn't worry too much.
I was just gonna pickle those fingers in the
dude,
refrigerator
so funny.
until they were nice and tasty, and
Yeah.
your eyeballs will soon be in the jar with them. I was wondering if you'd like to take your son out for an ice cream cone.
Is this weird? This is live, so we're recording it live.
Yes,
but
it's
this is interesting. I mean, it's a little bit out of the bag here.
Wow.
This one never airs.
I'm not cutting that out because it's too much work.
This episode,
I don't have the effort
this episode ever airs, but
unless you hype me up a lot, and I feel.
Do you know where she's going tomorrow?
No, I do not.
My brother-in-law's, who she secretly kind of likes.
That's interesting. Was
And she doesn't need to come.
Was that foreshadowing right there?
I don't know, but like, and then it's like, every time I go to happy hour with the guys from work, she's like, "What are you doing? You can't do that." Now she's like, go to happy hour? That's weird.
No, that's an omen.
It is.
Foreshadowing. She's hyping up the future
I guess.
by secretly not hyping it. She underhyped it.
I guess. Ugh.
Back
Anyway,
to
it's
the
gonna be
topic at hand now that everyone is gone.
Back to the topic at hand. Or actually, everyone's finally tuning in. Oh, it just got real. I just saw divorce flash before my eyes.
That's okay. That's all right. We'll get through it, Nick.
Anyhow,
Get ready for life because it's exciting. Are you going to go out and grab it by the balls?
that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So at my work, there are actually videos that play across the screens, and at exactly 8:15, I think it is. Anyway, what it is,
I hope there's a
it's
clock
chosen-
that is exactly 8:15, and there's a little like. Ding.
it's automated, so it happens the same time every day.
That
It might be
fucking
8:19.
messed up.
Either way,
Is there a
it's
secret
a
message embedded
selection.
in it? Subliminal?
No, it's there. If you go to YouTube and sales motivation videos, you can find thousands of them, and they're all like, "Hey, I didn't know when enough was enough," and it's like a dude boxing, shirtless, and then the next scene he's running, and it's like, "I thought giving up was easy, but then I said let's keep going," and then it's like him working really hard after hours with like a protractor and a piece of paper, and it's dark everywhere, so you know it's late at night, and you're like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "When the world said enough was enough, I kept digging." And it's like him just drawing straight lines, and you're like, wow, this is good. And anyway, it's like those videos play for like 4 minutes in the morning, and that's it. And every morning I elbow the guys next to me. I'm like, this makes me want to go out and do something with my life. Like quit this fucking job. And I say it loud enough so my manager can hear, and he ignores me every time. But it's really funny. It's like, it's a running joke. So I'm like, wow, this almost makes me want to do something real with my life and not work at a shitty sales job.
I wish I got
Hardly ever.
stuck on repeat for some reason one day. Every 4 minutes, it's like
Just
"Ding."
played the whole day.
The Dharma Initiative would like you to know, rock your world by selling. Sell. Can't you believe that you're not living if you aren't selling? Of course you can't. Like, huh?
Huh?
Get ready.
Interesting.
You're gonna be
Anyway, those videos exist, and here's another thought. Someone makes a living off of making those videos. Isn't that wild?
That is nuts, and they probably make more money than both of us.
Giving those speeches, too. You ever see those people that give the speeches, the motivational speeches for sales and pitches and stuff? Like Pitchman? Tim Robbins? Is that what his name is? Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that shit's legit. That those guys make that much money to just tell you to sell better.
That's like ex-presidents when they give speeches. Like, they just get like $100,000 to talk. It's like, it doesn't really matter. They're just like, oh, you're important. You deserve it.
As ex-president, let me tell you. They have to mention their ex-presidency, and then it's good. Whatever they say after that.
Mm-hmm. I never was motivated by that.
You weren't?
No.
Wow, you seem like the type that would be motivated by a video on YouTube.
Extremely thrilled. I think the only thing that motivates me is my own possibility of happiness. And my happiness window is shrinking. It's like I could imagine it's like Alice in Wonderland, where like you walk down a hallway and you think the window is really large, but when you get there, it's like I can't even fit my pinky finger through those happiness window. I wish it, yeah, forced perspective, like Michael Gondry.
Who's Michael Gondry?
He's the one who did that Jim Carrey movie where he Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, when he's like under the table or he's getting a bath in the sink as a child. There's like forced perspective.
I don't recall that scene, but interesting.
Maybe it was in my own dreams. I don't know if it's a real scene or not.
No. I mean that probably is. I've only seen the movie twice.
Yeah. Well, he does that sort of thing. He did
okay.
Kylie Minogue, Come As You Are, where she's walking around the same city block like a dozen times.
Over and over.
She was like walking with herself, but she never runs into herself, even though she's like a dozen of herself at the end. I highly recommend it.
I will check that out. That is interesting. That interests me, but it really does. Anyway, no, that's a good way to put your version of, what is it called? Motivation.
Happiness window.
It's a little different, but I guess it applies.
Yeah. So where does this originate? Since it was my topic, and I did the background here is that I bought a Switch lately. I had some time to play it.
Okay.
And what I realized was that you have a Switch, right?
I do. For my kid.
How many games do you have?
5.
Yeah, and is that
maybe 6?
That's probably the most games you could probably have for Switch that are legit, because the other ones are like tiny one-offs, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of garbage. I mean, there's probably 10 good games for the Switch.
Yeah, but you know what the best game is?
Which one?
It's Breath of the Wild.
Obviously. Okay, cool. I didn't know if you were going to say something else, or like Super Smash Brothers, or one of the other whatevers. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is kind of the
flagship,
the namesake. Yeah, the flagship. Thank you. Good word. I was trying to find that word.
What I find interesting is that like it's definitely a good game. There's no glitches in it. I've played it. I beat it. It's enjoyable.
You beat it already? God damn, dude.
How
many hours you sink into it?
I don't know. Does it tell you that? It's probably like 30, 40 hours.
It does. But, okay. Either way, I haven't played it that much, and I've had it for 5 times as long as you.
Yes, but there's something there that like they had to succeed in that game. Obviously, it was in development for like 4 years, I think, if I recall correctly. And if they didn't accomplish like that level of hype for such a game, then like the console itself would have probably failed.
Yeah, that's a good point. That had a lot of weight on its shoulders.
Yeah, I saw a stat somewhere that somehow Breath of the Wild outsold the Switch itself.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, somehow I believe it through some factorial, logistical gifting it. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, interesting.
But what I think is also happening is that like PR, so public relations, it's happening in like weird ways now that people don't realize. And
of course,
we've touched on this in like multiple ways.
Advertising's always ahead of the game, even when it's not. Like sometimes you'll see advertising, it's stupid, it's boring. You know the commercial, you know the punchline before it shows up, you know the car commercial before it happens. But advertising is a way of doing multi-layered things so that the jingle is stuck in your head for a while. Key words in the thing that associate with this car company. A song in the background that's an old song they bought rights to, and only they bought rights to. So when you hear that song, you kind of think of their car brand. So what you're talking about is like next level stuff that's subliminal, right?
Yes.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm. It's even like Tesla. Like I looked up today, you know what PE ratio is, price to earnings for like stocks. It's like PE ratios around now. Like 40 in the past have been like pricey. So like if you're going to buy a stock with a PE higher than 40, you're like, wow, that's expensive because it's not earning that much money.
Yeah.
It's a predictor of the future, like the expected value. It's like Tesla and the way there's like fanboys, same thing with Apple. Like all those like they have a certain group of people that just support them like regardless. They're warriors for that product, for that brand. And Tesla, like I guarantee they're the masters of like PR, of presenting themselves in the best way. And I'm not knocking Tesla, but the PE ratio for Tesla right now is like over 1,000. So it's like either there's like so much hype in the future that they're actually going to come to fruition on all the things they execute
At some point that it's going to be worth it, or this is a pipe dream where people are putting all their money into it and believing and believing and believing and believing and believing and believing.
It's all hope.
Okay.
But
Is that what hype is?
It's a possibility. I think it's the possibility of finding that little window of happiness getting larger and larger, so you can fit more than just your pinky in.
Hell yeah. More than just
that's true happiness right there.
Baby.
More than one.
You just get that pure happiness in, you get it back out, you get it back in, you get it back out like 20 times, you're good.
Oh my god.
Just a little bigger than your pinky.
Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about media influence and hype.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so today, if we're skip ahead in the timeline of when this episode drops, or skip back because this is dropping on
Good 2022.
Yeah.
2022.
This is dropping 6 months after that or something. I don't know. But, so Cyberpunk came out today, 2077.
Oh, damn. We're dating the episode.
Yeah, and the hype surrounding that game is the most prolonged hype I've ever seen for any game ever, because it took 8 years to make.
My coworker took off yesterday and today to play it.
Ooh, that's a mistake, from what I've heard. Depending on what he's playing on.
He's PC.
Oh, so he's probably okay. He probably has a computer that's newer than 5 years old.
He does. I helped him make it a little bit.
Wow.
Helped him pick some parts. Now he did most of the work himself, but he consulted in me. Anyway, he also has been picking out his genitals for the past 5 weeks.
I've heard that's an option, that you can decide what.
An option. That's the only reason to play the game.
So I've been waiting for perfect genitals.
Oh, dude, you can customize your schlong, your balls, your pee-pee, like the shape, the vagina, the pubic hair. Like, you can customize so much of your genitals that's what I think people are spending 90% of the game doing.
What's bizarre is that I have not, like, I guess you can't really post that and have it be acceptable.
I know. It's weird, like the picking out your genitals.
I think there's a level of dark comedy here that, like, it takes a while to brood. Like, it really does. And
like people will post this in 2 years and it'll be hilarious? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's like there's an obvious laugh at it, and like the internet doesn't like those types of like crude obvious laughs that are dark. Like, there's a darkness to it.
Sometimes the internet does.
Yeah. But what I'm finding, I think there's a group of people that, because of the stylistic nature of the game, that it's like really into that like dystopian derangement,
Blade Runner
almost,
type thing.
That it's like it's messed up a little bit. I think there's groups out there that are like attacking it. So this is what like 8 years of hype. You expect a game that's perfect, and it launches on various systems, and certain systems like don't look that great. So I was reading a thread about the way they equated it to No Man's Sky.
I thought that was going to come up today.
Yeah. The amount of hype in No Man's Sky was a mental hype. So it was like the game didn't deliver on hardly any of those mental levels of infinity and beyond, or whatever you call it. That's not a quote. Don't copyright me on that one. But essentially, this game's visuals were like its crux, and like people are seeing this in a variety of different mediums.
Cyber or
Cyberpunk?
No Man?
Well, both. If you think about like No Man's Sky, the visuals in that game, the animals, they did the Jurassic Park dun 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 dun, and then they had the kazoo version.
Well, yeah.
Well,
everyone thought something that was infinitesimally generated would look pretty friggin' cool every time, when really it turns out it looked pretty crappy. Just a crappy variant of a normal thing every time, and I was like, oh, damn it, this is gonna happen.
You can't have dinosaurs that are like 20 stories tall. They're only like 2 stories every time.
Yeah, and they just look like deformed dinosaurs if they're not regular dinosaurs, and then slightly deformed those dinosaurs, and you're like, this is going to keep happening.
Yeah. Oh, he has different color claws. Oh.
Exactly. Oh, this one's brown with, they didn't know how to do spots. Never mind. This one's just brown.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Gotcha.
But this is the type of thing that I, like, it's surprising me, is that it really feels like there's obviously a hype train that CD Projekt Red is who made Cyberpunk, like the hype train they created, they couldn't meet expectations. Like no one can ever meet that level of
No.
expectation. That's obvious. And there's people that probably believe it and are crushed today. And there's people that
Like they're actually mad at the company.
yeah, because it's not perfect on day one, which doesn't
Yeah,
I don't think that
that's-
exists now ever.
It's funny. Someone mentioned this about games. Like back when you released a Sega Genesis game,
Done.
it was on a physical hard cartridge. You handed it to people. It was ready to go. You can't do a firmware update or like, hey, we're gonna update your software. There was no
Patch it.
internet, so yeah, you can't patch it. It's what you give people is the final product. Nowadays, when you release a game, it is buggy. It's like common knowledge. It's like, we're releasing it. It's not done yet. It's like, what? Okay. But it's kind of, so it changes the whole realm. I mean, every game is getting patches and updates. So what, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread and also not have patches and updates? No. I mean, on one hand, it's like every other friggin' game, right?
So this came up when we are talking about like Trumpism, I'll call it. Is that I'm looking through this thread of people ripping on it, and they had that Jurassic Park, and then like they show like graphics that are just like from like 10 years ago, and it like something is not right with it. It's a narrative that they're trying to feed, and I'm like, it's okay. Like I just want honest reviews and discussion about like what people are or not seeing. And there's some things that were just like, hey, this is like someone who is actually playing it. Like we have Twitch now that you can actually just like get on
Watch
Twitch
them
and
play live.
watch
Yeah.
them play. And I did that because of this thread that said like the game doesn't really look like shit. And I was like, well, let me see. And it doesn't.
Watch some Twitchers? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It all depends on what they're playing on, et cetera, et cetera. I totally get that.
Exactly. But the weird part is when you watch like what gets posted in that thread, there's like an anti-hype that happens. There's like a
So
undercurrent.
this is interesting. Yeah. If something gets big enough, it has equal and opposite forces going to work on it. Like, you'll never find a mom and pop shop that have like anti-propaganda against them when they have 3 employees. Like people outside being like, do you know what they're really selling? You know what I mean? And like people doing this. But when something becomes a multi-million-dollar, multi-million views item, multi-million, everything
the PR
is
becomes
so
just as valuable.
It's so big that undercutting that PR or going against that is just as valuable. So now you have misinformation, you have true information, you have skewed facts, you have real facts, you have beta versions, you have someone showing you something that isn't true, is true. It's like holy crap. It becomes a whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm worried about the future here because I look reading through the comments, every like third or fourth comment had like similarities to it. Like it wasn't a verbatim comment, but if you look at like those like counter Trumpism tweets, they like some of them were stupid enough not to replace the words they were supposed to replace, like enter opponent here or some stupid thing. But like these things are like, oh, this game looks like it's on PS2, blah blah blah, PS2. Like I kept reading that, and I just wonder how many of these are like maybe they're people that are reiterating it, or maybe it's like some sort of like malevolent like propaganda machine that is like anti-hyping things. Which
How hard would it be to make something like that?
I think it'd be pretty easy. I mean, I
What
think
if-
I could do it. Like,
Now, you're also not a multi-million-dollar industry. Do you think a multi-million-dollar industry could make even more of them?
like a torpedo other games. Yeah, I think that's what they're attempting to do. They're attempting to like dissuade people from buying it day one because it's like not perfect. And honestly, the Twitch streams I watched, I was like, this looks pretty cool. Like this is something I haven't really seen before. Like it could, like the amount of potential there is like, yeah, this is up my alley. And it is the game that's like for
On your radar?
dystopian city. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
my jam.
Is it GTA 5-ish? Like open world? You can go in all the buildings
darker,
or
yeah.
no? Or
I think
Well,
you can
I-
go in some buildings. I think some people were
okay.
saying that you couldn't go in every building, or like you couldn't interact with somebody that was like a food stand. Like you would
Okay.
think you'd be able to eat a hot dog, but like I don't know. Like I don't know.
Is that being programmed? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
My
I can't
other
imagine
question
a
is
person's
this:
job is like to program the hot dog stand for like the entire.
there probably
year.
is. There
There
probably
probably
is.
is.
That would be hilarious.
What does your wiener look like? We'll make it look like the hot dog we're about to give you.
We got some real wiener technology coming into this game.
Yeah.
Ironically, this is the one
sketching-
used as the real wiener
They're-
technology.
Their office space is just dicks everywhere. It's like
They're just
which
looking.
ones?
They're like A65 today. A65. You're gonna have a beautiful day. He kisses it. We're gonna use you today.
Huh. Send it out to the world.
What about this though? What if the game is being released? It's a multi-million-dollar game. It's been 8 years in development. They rushed it to get it out the door, and there's a bunch of glitches, and it does kind of suck. And there are reviewers out there saying it sucks, and then people in their mentions going crazy, saying you're a hater. I can't believe it. You're just playing it on a crappy PC. The opposite of what you just said.
Polarization.
You're getting it, man. I don't know who to believe half the time.
It's weird because the media machine that we're generating has no bearing on like whether we would actually like the game, yet it's dissuading us from getting it. And like I search for the people that are unbiased. Like I watched some guy play it on a PS4, which is supposed to look like shit on, and I was just like, okay, like I saw it judder a little bit, but I was like, you know, the world that they created, it seems like it's like I could get into that world. So there's a piece here that like the graphics are okay enough on a system that's not that powerful, and they're enjoyable. Like it looks like it's enjoyable. Like I could play it. There's another element to here that, like, Zelda, like the Breath of the Wild game, is not graphically intensive.
It was very cartoonesque, I guess.
It's like
helps it.
cell shader and all that,
Mhm.
which is like Borderlandsy. It's like not the same motif, but you know the way they do graphics. But it doesn't take a game to have perfect graphics to make it good.
Correct.
Which is, it's bizarre that so many people are hinging. I mean, they're attacking
On the graphics
it.
being good or not
Yeah.
good or bad or not good or
I will give Breath of the Wild is smooth, whereas I'm hearing that Cyberpunk may not be. Maybe choppy in
Well,
parts.
You mentioned earlier how it's like the flagship of the Switch. I think certain games have to run perfectly on certain systems.
Yes.
Nintendo has a habit of doing that.
Because it's very boxed in. It's like containerized. Like you can't play a Zelda
Sure.
game on any other system.
No, you're absolutely right. It's custom built for that system, for that ROM, for that RAM, for everything involved. The computing, the programming, it's all built just for one system, for one thing, to do one thing, and to do it well. And Nintendo games tend to do them very well. Very smooth, very however they're supposed to look.
Yep.
Not a lot of stutter, frame rate drop, no. But good.
So I'm an aspiring like game developer. I was looking at, there were like 300 people that were involved in the development of Zelda, and towards the end of it they said everyone go home and play it for a week on a
interesting.
Switch and figure out if there's any bugs. So like
They were their own testers.
exactly, and then they probably had their own part where they knew how it worked and they tried to like figure
Break
out how
that
it would
part.
fail. Yeah, but you can't do that when you're trying to do it for like every device out there. You're launching across multiple consoles. It's like
Sure.
they're crowdsourcing all the bugs. And I'm not saying like
That's wrong or right.
Yeah.
If you're just saying it's impossible to yeah.
find every bug. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's that level of hype they could never. They
Have you
could
seen
never
the Dick Jeans bug?
The what?
The Dick Jeans bug?
You see your dick through the jeans. I saw the through the boobs through the shirt.
Oh, okay, now I saw a Dick through some jeans. So shout out Cyberpunk
Was it erect
2077.
or was it just floppy?
No, it's just flopping around. It's like
Does
as
it
if you were
move?
seeing
It
your
has
character
physics?
naked. Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, there's a lot of time
That's a lot
and
of dick swing.
there's a
big dick
lot of
energy.
effort going into the genitals in this game. Which big shout out. That's why Griff took off 2 days. Shout out Griff.
He hasn't finished customizing his genitals yet. He's like, look at this one. Look, wow.
He might spend a day and a half just customizing the genitals. Now, there are way more options with the penis than the vagina, I've been told. And we tried to get Griff to do the tiniest needle point wiener with a large mushroom head, which apparently might be customizable, and the biggest balls he could get. Like just big old beach balls. Like volleyball. And we said if he didn't do it, We'd excommunicate him from the group at work.
Oh,
Turns out he picked a girl with a vagina and a landing strip, and he showed us, and I was like, dude. He copped out. He chickened out, right?
yeah, alternate path.
He went the easy route. Like, oh, I can look at this, and she's sexy and cool. Like, I'll do this. Everyone will think it's cool. And I'm like, nah, dude, you should have tiny dick, big mushroom head, and beach balls. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks. I'm actually almost mad at him. But anyway, I'm not going to get into it. But
I love this game already. I haven't played it.
Anyway, he ruined it, but good.
So yeah.
So hype.
I think what this brings me to is that there was definitely hype around Zelda and the Switch. And the Switch came out, what, 3 or 4 years ago? Somewhere
Yeah,
around that
2 or
time?
3. I'll say 3.
I'll say 3. Average it. I've been wanting to play Zelda for like 3 years. And I just haven't bought it because I didn't have the time to play it. And there was so much hype in my mind about what it would be. And it was a completely different Zelda game than all the other ones.
Yes.
It has elements to Zelda, but they're not really hardcore elements at all. And then, like, they're puzzly things that's I think the core of Zelda is that you go someplace and you have to solve a puzzle. And you have the tools and, like, you have to figure out how
Hearts, and there are hearts.
Yeah, and there are hearts and, like...
And a sword and boomerang.
Yeah.
And certain bad guys look familiar, but good. Yeah.
It definitely has that and have elements that are, like, you really get into. A little, like, fantasy world where it's enjoyable to play. There are certain, like, letdowns that you don't have the musical score that all the Zeldas have. And then the bosses aren't that tough. But overall, it was an enjoyable experience. And then, like, the amount of, I'll say, passion that I poured into, like, what I hoped it would be, like, it was good. Like, it's not like, I don't know that at middle 30s, mid-age, you can be like, wow, that was the best thing ever.
It's changed
Whoa,
my
God.
life. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You do have different responsibilities, lifestyle, but like my kid, he's just too young to play it. Like, just out of the range. Like, he'll play it, but it's an open world game. It's a very scary open world game where he's not going to know how to go to all the way across town to go to this village and fast travel and do this.
Can
and
he read and understand what they're actually saying?
He can read, like, names and, like, small words. So he's not like, hey, Link, can you go here? Oh, oh. I like that little sound effect they do. Oh, yeah.
He'd laugh at the noise, yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then he would hand me the controller anytime something really hard came up, or like he had to fight a boss or something like that. So, and he would definitely not be able to figure out the guardian puzzle things.
Oh, no.
Not that they're
beasts.
hard, but like, yeah, but just the way that you do them. Fighting the guardians is pretty cool.
Yes. I didn't figure that out until like 20 hours in. I was like, oh, wait. You can
What'd you figure
reflect
out?
it back to them.
Well, I still haven't done that. Was it with a pot lid or whatever?
What? Can you use a pot
Yeah.
lid as a shield?
Yeah. And that apparently just, it's because it has a 1 rating, everyone throws them away. It's like you can use that, and a ladle, I think, hurts them. So, like, the 2 crappiest things that you can get in the very beginning of the game end up being things you can use against the guardians. If you look up, like, just type into YouTube, dudes fucking up guardians with a ladle and a pot lid, it's like, it's insane what some of these people have done. It's actually really enjoyable. You will be like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. And you'll be like, that's pretty cool.
So this is the
Opposite of hype?
this is the
Like when
opposite
something's
of
really
hype
cool and
because
you
it's-
didn't even hear about it?
Yeah. No, well, yeah, there's so many possibilities in the game that, like, it's not like, yes, I've heard the game's fantastic, and then, like, you play it and you're like enthused at playing it continuously. But for our age, it's kind of like a drawn out kind of, like, I don't know,
I gotta play it
melodramatic
more.
kind of like
I gotta keep doing it. I gotta keep enjoying this game. Oh.
yeah. The amazing thing is that they have these, like, shrines. There's 120 of them. I'm on, like, my 70th shrine.
Yeah, dude, you're way ahead of me. I got like 30 max.
But in the last one that I played, there was a gimmick or a mechanic that I hadn't seen before, and I was like, wait a second, like, this thing is new. And then, like, I was like, oh, you're supposed to like, solving the puzzle with, like, a brand new thing that I didn't use after even beating the game. I was like, what the? That's what makes a game. Like,
Did you get to the
hypeable.
island? The
The
island where you get no clothes?
Eventide, yeah.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I did.
That took me a while.
I was sitting there for like 2 hours, like playing that island thing, and I was like, "What the hell?" I had to look
And
up where
you
the
die
other.
every time.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn. And at one point, I picked up iron, and then I was getting struck by lightning, and then I was like, good lord. Eventually, I figured it out, but it took me a while. Anyway, stuff like that. Like, that's a cool feature because you're stripped of all your armor, all your weapons, all your everything, and you have to survive this island without your stuff, which you've been collecting a whole shit ton of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's the point of the game. You know what I mean?
You've been building your metal.
Yeah. And now you
METT.
just got to use your wits.
Yes.
Not die, because when you die, they restart the whole damn mission.
So
No save points.
what are you hyped about? Like, what have you been hyped about? What will you be hyped about in the future? What are you hyped about right now?
I can get hyped about, I guess, 3 things.
Like, 3.
Sports related things. Like, I still get
Oh,
hyped for sports stuff.
Little game. Like
I'll totally scream. I'll yell right now in Philadelphia sports. I don't think there's anything
tension. Oh yeah.
hyping me. Nah, nothing. Tension, you said?
Like if you're watching a game and it's tied and it's
Mhm.
the clock is
Oh
running
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. 100%. But I'm saying right now in Philadelphia sports, there's nothing really that hypes me so much that I want to run through a wall or
Are they
you
even
know.
playing basketball? Are they?
Yeah, they're starting to back up in like I want to say 4 weeks.
That's weird. And then the hockey's not going until much later.
Yeah, they're delaying it for some reason. We'll see. I actually am probably more hyped for basketball this year. And football has been a bust, although I like watching other games, but like if it's not your team, I don't necessarily get hype. I just enjoy the sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a general
Okay.
appreciation for
Mhm.
communal things, I guess. As disappointed as that sounds.
The art, the whatever, the athleticism, I'm like, oh, that's
Effort.
beautiful. Good job. A little clappy clap.
Yeah, golf clap.
But no, sports if it's my team, I get hype about. Another one is like really good music. Every now and then, if you have 2 headphones in, I will still get really hype. I'll get goosebumps. I'll still do the thing. I'll dance in my kitchen doing dishes, and I'll get hype. And what was the final thing for hype? There is something else that just gets me, like I get. Right now, I work out like 5 or 6 days a week, and if you really
Go hard.
the pre-workout's flowing, the music is perfect, and your
Systematic.
muscles are screaming.
Your dopamine
You're
knows
just like
it's
this.
coming.
Oh, yeah, you get that. Oh, where you want to yell and do more and more and like push it and push it and push it.
So what does that?
Other than that, no.
It's interesting because like your 3 hypes are all like interpersonal hypes.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
don't
have-
think there's much in my life that's hyping
An
me.
outside hype, except with Griff's customization
I'm
of
in-
the penis.
I'm hyped for Griff, but I'm not actually hype. I'm not like, man, I can't wait till Griff customizes that penis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not
You don't
because
remember?
I'm 30 something. I don't get
Yeah.
hype about every normal stuff.
You reminded me of when I was like 21 and like going out to like some party with all my friends crammed in a car. Like that was
That's
that's
hype. That's
communal
hype.
hype right there. Like you don't
It
know
is.
what that party holds for you. There's a mystery about it. And like
And you're
everyone's
also,
geared.
I guess at that age, you wanna. It is hype. It's like the sky's the limit. You don't know what's gonna happen. You're gonna hook up. You're gonna have sex. You're gonna have the best time in your life. You're gonna get fucked up. You're gonna meet your new best friend. You're gonna go out and have an adventure. You're gonna have something you're gonna talk about for the rest of your life. You're gonna run from the cops. You're gonna do this. You're gonna meet someone who you're gonna be laughing about for 10 years because his name's Elway and he smokes cigarettes and he's by the keg and he won't let you drink from it unless you tell him a joke. And he goes, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you the joke. And like, you know, and you're like, what the fuck is this guy? He's like 40 years old and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I don't know. And that's hype. At our age, you don't run into a lot of risk.
Yeah.
Different opportunities. Our
Disillusionment.
lives are. No, and you're right, it is disillusion, but also I don't know. How many days you got planned in a row? I got like 50 days planned out of the next 55.
I guess I don't know that I have anything planned. I just don't know. I don't have anything
Well, are you going to work? Are you
different.
gonna
Yeah, I don't have
do
anything
something
different
with your
to
kid?
add to it.
Exactly.
You know the
It's-
outcome of whatever you do, even if it's like having sex. Like even if it's the best sex I've ever had. Like there's probably like a top 3, and it's probably not going to be the top 3. Like, you know, it's probably going to be like average, like kind of good, but you've been there. It's like,
You've been there. We've all been there, you know.
Yeah, there's not, like, the ceiling has been set, and you know that, like, they're probably, like, it might happen that you break through your ceiling of happiness, but, like, you're probably not going to get there. Yeah.
So hype is like the idea that you might be running towards or headed towards the greatest blank of your life. Greatest video game, the greatest music album you've ever heard in your life. Like, at one point you will hear your favorite album. At one point you will play your favorite video game. At one point you will meet your favorite person. These are just facts. I mean, right?
Yeah. What I wonder, I'll go back to Zelda, is that it's ingrained to you at a young age of, like, what you'll hype. Like, certain things that persist even now, like playing that Zelda game, was like the little notes of, like, the past of when I was a kid. You have a nostalgia that hypes you up, that you reflect upon, and it, like, exists inside of you. And I think that's why I hype games when I want to play them. But you're going in a direction. Keep going.
Okay, mine was, I mean, similar. It's just the hype is like, hey, this could be the best album I've ever heard. This could be the best song I've ever heard. This could be the best video game I've ever played. This could be the best party moment we've ever been a part of. And as you get older, you realize that, like, maybe you've already had that best, so you're not going to beat it. Kind of what you mentioned. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be in your top 3 anymore. So, like, and you could be wrong, but chances are you're not. Like, yo, we got a party this weekend. Elway's going to be there. He's been in the keg. I got a couple of the boys I haven't seen in a couple of years. It's going to be a pretty good party. And that's a hype. It's a feeling. You're like, I don't know, this could be one of the best. Chances are, if you're our age, it's not going to be one of the best you've ever been to. It could. I'm not saying it's not. Chances are it's going to be good. Everyone's going to have a good time. There's going to be something fucking funny that happens. But chances are the best you've ever had is already kind of behind you. Is that messed up to say?
And even if you were to have the best, you, like, recreating what you did back then, there's going to be somebody that's going to open that door behind you and just guilt you for it. They're going to be like, oh, did you spend that night with your buddies till 2 a.m.? Well, that's great. That's great, Nick. I'm glad you had a good time. She'll shut the door and then
you can't be going and having the best time of your life now. We're adults. Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Like that light leaves your eyes and you're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have enjoyed myself. So hype is kind of like, it's tied to youth. And what's funny is, to tie it all back together, hype for me has always been, this sounds really, really corny, about video games. Like, I used to get Game Pro magazine and, like, Game Informer,
Nintendo
and
Power,
Nintendo Power, all of them.
Nintendo Power.
And when you would get them, it seemed a little racially charged almost.
This is the other.
But when you would get them, like, I was always reading about a new game that was coming out in 6 months or a year. Like, those are my favorite things. Not reviews of games that were already out. I was always looking forward to games that were going to come out.
Hope and
had
hype,
awesome stories. Yeah. Like Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. I read about that for years before it came out. Like, all these games. Like, I would read articles on freaking video games before they came out. And eventually they would come out and I'd play them. And even if they were as good as I thought they were, it's still, something in the present doesn't encapsulate what
You thought it could
feels
be.
like it could be in the future.
The possibilities.
Yeah, the hype.
Actuality.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Actuality
so depressing.
is always like,
we can't end on that.
that's what it is. But
Yeah. The sad thing is that, like, for me, I don't know what hypes me up. I honestly, like, accomplished the goal that I've been waiting for 3 years to, like, play this Zelda game, and I was like, it was good. And there are moments in that game that, like,
cool.
They got me. Like, watching.
Did you turn off the axis for the bow?
No, I kept that on.
Did you? Look at you, badass. I turned it off because, like, I was always like
You
laying
shut
down
it
and
a
I'd be like,
little bit.
damn it, I gotta get up, and they're like, yeah, and then I don't know, and then I have to sit up.
No, I actually like that because I can aim
Interesting.
and be, like, slightly off and then move it. And then it's
Oh,
like,
after the fact?
Yeah, after the fact. Because, like, it never is quite right, but then you can just, like, And if you get, so this is one thing that I love when there's new mechanics that I've never seen before. There are 3D puzzles where you can move the controller beyond what are human limits. So like you have to like twirl it twice to like move a staircase contraption pyramid, and like you're rotating it. It like
did it twice? You did it double rotate?
You have to. I don't know how. Like maybe
and
there's
it
a way.
Recorded it? Interesting. I haven't gotten to that one. There was one where I was throwing bombs into water, and it was making whatever the item was in the water move out of the water, but I had to use the wave from my bomb. Like, you know, you can generate those bombs.
I didn't know it made waves.
Yeah. So if you throw it in water, it floats, and then if you detonated it, not like waves,
push it,
like it wasn't
pushes
like waves,
it.
but yeah, the burst wave. But in water, it moves different than whatever. You're making me feel weird. Water.
I love that it's somebody's job to make it look realistic. Like they must have spent days trying to figure out the like how it floats and how it moves things in water and like.
Do you think they tried different like items? Because you can throw items, so like how every item reacts. Yeah. Do you think swords move different than torches? Move different than things that float?
I love so like hype is possibility and what I don't know if it's not leading into anything that this is a spoiler, but and this one on one of the divine beasts, you have to have these like two pedestals, and you need like these balls that are like electrically charged, and you put them on the pedestal. You probably didn't play this one. Anyway, I throw those bombs around like crazy because I just like they're
free.
Me.
Yeah, they're free.
I must have exploded one of those off the divine piece because it was like it was walking around. I must have like launched it off of it. Like I didn't know where it went. So I had one of the balls, and I didn't have any way to do the other side. So I spent an hour taking all of the metallic equipment I had, laying it on the ground to connect the circuit from one electric ball to the other pedestal. It worked. It worked.
Damn.
I love. So there's also, what's it called? Masterclass. Is there? Have you heard of that website? Where like they take somebody like a Gordon Ramsay and they have him genuinely talk about cooking and what makes it like him masterful or what it takes to get to a point where like you understand cooking at a different level. But this one was Will Wright. I don't know if you know Will Wright. He's a SimCity.
Oh no.
Will Wright, he's a game designer, so he did like SimCity. He did all the Sims. Yeah, I think he did like just look up Sims if you don't know. Like he did The Sims.
That's fine.
But like he was talking about like games in a different way. He said like he just like you create the elements of a game so that you can experience them, like you're like different objects interacting, and like it gives you your own agency to like interact with those things. And
the playground.
Even, like, what was that? A playground, yeah.
The playground. GTA 5 was that when it first came out.
Yeah. Do you think those developers thought that someone would create the shark like high rise water method or like,
no,
like
not at all?
No.
Which is hilarious. That so you're saying what makes a game awesome or hilarious or fulfilling is that they made a playground, they made an event, a field, an atmosphere. What's the word I'm looking for?
Environment.
An environment that is interactable, and it's up to the individuals who interact with it to create things that even the designers didn't think would be possible, but end up being possible and make total sense.
Yeah.
Like you just said, connecting the things by swords and crap, all metallic objects, which is hilarious.
I think that's what hypes me the most is that it's going to take me a long time, but I want to like make a game that is so like down
real,
to the core basic, but like everything interacts with each other. But on the same token, it's like you can't make it so that it's real life. Like you have to distill it down to like symbols, like symbolism or symbols. So
you could. Would you call it everything reacts with everything?
That'd be a good game. But
okay.
Zelda took 300 developers like 4 years to make, so there's no way I would be able to do that. But what gives me like hope is that it'd be fun. I don't know how long it would take me, but if I ever completed a game that other people enjoyed and found like nuances, and like if you're a developer of GTA 5 and someone makes sharks everywhere, like the water is rising on LA or whatever you would call it, like I think that would give me the most enjoyment, to see other people interacting with whatever I created.
That's my favorite part of a game, when you make a game within the game that wasn't made by the game.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Will Wright talks about, is that
Interesting.
you create a game that's playable in an infinite number of ways, and you see how someone played it, and they go, I never thought of that. Like, it wasn't by design
this way.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of the way a lot of AAA games are made. You have to play one way. You have to beat the game in one direction. You can only open up different events by traveling to this set point, XYZ. Interesting.
So I wonder if Cyberpunk, these people that genuinely like the game, are going to start seeping into the media scene with, like, I did this with my genitals, and, like, someone's going to be like, whoa.
Interesting you say that. I don't know if this is real, because this is day one in the release. You can choose to have your penis circumcised or uncircumcised.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Did you hear what happened to the people who are choosing circumcised penises?
No.
They're being prejudiced against by all the NPCs. They're being told they can't do certain things. The game is 10 times more difficult for them, and they are not accepted for certain missions, all because their penises are circumcised. And they think it's hilarious, and I think it's even funnier that they're being... Yeah, I think if developers did that on purpose, hilarious. Genius.
Yeah, that's
top notch.
buffoonery.
So to sum it up, though,
yeah,
hype is a good thing, I think.
Maybe the best of things.
Stop.
And no good thing ever dies.
Well, here's the thing with hype. I don't know that anything lives up to hype. If you want to round it up, could you name something that lived up to the hype? Even Zelda, Breath of the Wild, I love it. It's great, but I don't know, live up to the hype? What
What's
does anything
the most hype
in
thing
quotes?
of all time? I think it must be Cyberpunk, because there's nothing.
Bread, sliced bread. And then even when you slice it, what is it at the end of the day? I don't know, it's like toast.
Like, the best job. Like, jobs are never always good, fun. The best, like, buying a house or, like, owning more stuff, like physical stuff. I kind of like, I don't want more stuff now. No matter what it is. A computer. I think you build the best computer, you play one game with it, probably Doom, because that's what I did. And then you're like, okay. Doom did have a lot of... That was pretty good. But, I don't...
Did we talk about Doom 2016? An episode?
I think we might have touched on it.
Did you enjoy it?
Hell yeah, I did. That Berserker
Good.
mode where you're punching all of the demons.
God.
Oh, I love that.
This is I just I bought the sequel for like $19 the other day. I haven't played it yet, but I need time when my kid isn't around, people aren't around. But anyway,
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
find
hyped
time.
for it, but I also feel like it's not going to live up to Doom 2016. It'll be like slightly crazier, more hectic version of that game. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I definitely.
That's my hype level. Okay.
Yeah,
So there you
yeah.
go.
And like building a new computer, having all the possibility of what you could do. Like, do you ever really use it to the max?
No, never.
Probably not. Maybe a car. I see a lot of people hype cars. I'm not. I mean, I was a car guy in video games, but not in real life. It's too expensive.
You drive it places. I don't know.
What about you? Own a Jeep that you have bright
No, no,
orange?
no, no, no. I
Owned?
own an Infiniti GX60.
Oh, you sold your Jeep.
No. My Jeep got rear-ended by a drunk driver, and I've been driving this Infiniti
When
that they
was
rented to me.
Personal.
3 weeks ago. Oh, I can tell you. I don't care.
Oh, dang it.
Anyway, for 3 weeks, they gave me a replacement vehicle.
Uh-huh.
It's an Infiniti QX350.
What's that?
Anyway, it's oh my god, dude! It's like a tank. It's bigger than most SUVs I've ever seen, and it's like a 2019 or 2018, and it's got a heated steering wheel, heated seats. Every now and then, the company calls me and they're like, "Your Jeep, we found extra damage. We're gonna fix it." And I'm like, Yeah, I'm sitting in my heated seat. Go ahead, whatever. Click.
The Jeep with like the plastic windows and like flapping in the wind.
And it's so funny. I've never driven in like a luxury SUV that's like, oof, worth more than my Jeep double, I guess, or triple.
So I guess it's
Hype.
true. No. True hype is like a warm shower. Like it's just like, it just feels good continuously, and like their happiness just
But there is an end.
persists. Yeah, until it fizzles. The sizzle fizzle.
Sizzle fizzles, folks.
Yeah.
What we're saying is hype is a real thing. It's a good thing. I'm not going to repeat the rest of that. But
No good thing ever died.
no good thing. But it's enjoyable. I enjoy hype. Like I love being part of it. Like I know it's not going to live up to every expectation I have, but it's nice to dream. It's nice to live in the future. It's nice to not, I don't know, not adhere to any rules or contexts or
The moment
realities.
the Phillies win the World Series and everyone is hyped up, they're all pouring into the streets.
I was Tommy the Fox Flowers house, running into the streets, dude. I saw maybe Matt Trickle we went to school with, I think. Could be. Who
What was
knows?
that last part?
Matt Trickle. Dick Trickle?
Oh, okay. Yep, got it.
What was his name?
Yep,
Anyway.
you're right.
I think I saw someone else. Oh, Kevin Durant. Saw him that night.
Way to name people. I've already looked these people up.
Do you think everyone's going to be
Pinpoint
looking
us
them up
in
and
the
be like,
past.
found
We
you?
have found
outside
his
enjoying-"
lineage.
Nah, I don't think anyone cares. And if they did, it's cool.
Yeah, no one's going to care after 150 something episodes, and no. So the hype on this podcast has probably died down and ended, which is where we're going to.
Can you imagine if it's not? We're like,
What if
I
it's
think
the beginning of hype?
160's gonna be the one.
If there's anybody out there
This
that's
is
hyped for
crazy.
episodes, please. Like,
No,
I think
there are.
Nick
I'm
needs to
telling you.
have enthusiasm. He's been fading. So I think let's talk about. Did you remove
What?
a tattoo?
No, it wasn't. It's higher up.
Oh, it's all the universe. Oh, there you go, all those atoms. That's
It's right
what
there.
happened
No,
there.
sorry.
Oh my God! Did you
Oh
get
my
some?
god, it's right there.
Oh man,
It still looks good.
people are like, whoa! Did you get some? There's some smudge on your arm. So let's talk about the serious thing though. Before this is the end of the episode is kind of ended, but I think the podcast has kind of faded too.
It kind of has, but I will tell you this:
Mm-hmm.
transitions are funny. A transition can look like an end. A transition is something that's like, it died doing what it was, but it also, it became something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Does that make sense?
I think you're full of shit.
I think you can't grow a beard.
I didn't. This is December, not November.
No, I think you haven't shaved in a month, and that's what it looks like. I haven't shaved in 2 weeks, folks. What do you folks
That's
think?
not 2 weeks, man.
It's like 5 or 6 weeks at this
Yeah,
point.
crap. Little crap.
I think the podcast is just going through a thing that the rest of the goddamn world is going through. It's late. I have kids. Is it COVID? Is it not COVID? What are we doing? Where are we going? Like, there's a lot of questions, and it's like, I don't fucking know.
Burned out.
Ask me next week. A little bit, but
When was the last time you spent like a day doing one thing? Like all day, and you wanted to do it?
jacking off. Cyberpunk 2077 came out.
That's
I
the
customized my
slowest
genitals,
pump.
and I went.
ever. Just like probably Doom. I think you played Doom for like a good solid time.
Yeah, that was a most of a day type deal.
I found my piece, Nick. I think we can end the episode.
Interesting. Well,
We
join the hype train. That is the Unpanders. This is our
so
arc, folks.
exciting. There's so
This is
much
the
ahead
arc.
of us. We're just beginning the 160 something this episode. I can't wait for the 1000th episode, which is coming right around the corner. You won't believe how much fun we're having all the time. Every episode, every sentence, it's filled with such joy that you cannot read into the sardonic wit
Italian.
and sarcasm that is the unbelievable duo, the sizzle of the unpanderers.
Oh, the sizzle and the syrup. We are the unpanderers.
The bacon and the sausage. Take a bite.
Sausage. We like it, folks. We like you a lot.
Good night.